Hey guys, I'm showing you my Marik deck. Marik? I think it's Marik. Anyways, I'm showing my Marik deck today, and it's pretty much all cards that he's actually used. And this deck, somehow it works. I have no idea how it works, but it does. So I'll just go through all the cards in it. So first off, the staple of the card is the staple of the deck is the Winged Dragon of Ra. And this card doesn't work exactly like it does in the anime. How it does work is that it can't the normal summon can't be negated. You tribute 3 monsters. Um, you don't get the attack points and defense points of the monsters like it does in the anime, but you can sacrifice your life point, like almost all your life points, to get his attack. So you have 100 life points left. Very risky card. It also has an effect where you can pay 1,000 life points to destroy a monster on the field. So this card, it has two real good ways that you can win with it. One is, obviously, if they don't have the defense, you can have an 8,000 point attacking monster. Or if you have another monster in addition to the Winged Dragon, you can clear the field pretty easily just by paying some life points. So it's a decent card. It could be tough to get out, and it's still very risky. But we'll talk about how the rest of the deck can help with that. So quickly, Newdoria. This monster just you're able to destroy a monster on the field with it, which is pretty nice. And 1200 attack isn't great, but decent for a nice effect like that. Drillago. This card's interesting. It has 1600 attack, but if the only cards that your opponent has is 1600 attack monsters or more, you can attack directly, which can be very useful with some of the other cards in this deck. Lava Golem, one of my personal favorite cards. If you don't know how this works, you tribute 2 of their monsters to summon it, and then they lose 1,000 life points, like every turn. So you give them a 3,000 attack point monster, but it destroys them. So usually they'll tribute it or try to get it out or something. Um, but yeah, Revival Jam, 1,500 attack, and you can keep summoning it back. Not too amazing of a card, but some of these cards won't be that amazing, but it'll be part of the theme of the deck. Helpomer, 2,000 attack, 1 tribute. This is an interesting card. If it gets destroyed by battle, you'll start discarding cards from your opponent like crazy every turn, which is very useful. But um, it's a really big question whether you want to summon a 2,000 point attack monster for a tribute. So, Dark Jeroid. Okay, when this one gets summoned, it lowers someone's attack by 800, which is really useful if your opponent's relying on one really strong monster. So even if this gets destroyed, you can still rely on it to do its job. Bowganian. This is a great card because you'll see when I get into the magic and trap cards that that kind of stalls them, and if you can stall them while keeping Bowganian in defense mode, you'll start racking up a lot of life point damage, especially with Lava Golem. And then these two, Melchid and Grand Tiki, they're just both normal monsters that have 1,500 attack, but they're in here because they're used for the Masked Beast, which I'll talk about now. So it's a double tribute, but it's a special summon. One of the tributes has to be one of these guys. So that's why it's in this deck. 3,300 attack, insane attack. So 3,300 is it's a pretty high attack, and it's a special summon, which is really nice too. In addition, it has a really nasty effect, which is that once it gets destroyed, you can equip a Mask of Remnants to your opponent, which you basically get control of their monster. So a very powerful card. Gil Grath, really the only high normal attacker in this deck. Again, another one of the cards he used, so it's okay. Spirit Reaper, this is just a stall card in order to make the rest of the deck work. If you don't know, this one just can't be destroyed by battle, but if it gets targeted by an effect, it gets destroyed. Hannibal Necromancer, so 1,400, 1,800, decent defense, and you can remove a face-up trap card. It's situationally really useful, but the tough part is finding out when you need to use it. Monster Reborn, obviously. Magical Stone Excavation, just to get a bunch of these other cards out. Mask of Remnants, we already talked about. Bait Doll is a really cool card. I like this one. So basically, you choose one of their face-down magic or trap cards. And if it's a trap card, but the timing is wrong, like if it's Mirror Force and you aren't attacking, it gets destroyed. So, although if the activation is incorrect, their trap gets activated, but possibly they don't want it to be activated. So, and an also neat thing about this is it doesn't get destroyed, it gets sent to the deck. So you can keep reusing it over and over and over again. I really like this card. Spell of Pain. So this one switches effect damage to your opponent, which is very random. You try to wonder when you're going to want to use this. Depends on the deck you're fighting. The best example I can give you and how I've won a bunch of duels is I used Winged Dragon of Ra. I made it have 8,000 attack. I attacked, and they used Magic Cylinder, and then Spell of Pain, and I win. So there's some uses for it in this deck. It's also just a neat card to have. Vengeful Bog Spirit. This just fits into the stall portion of this deck. Basically, monsters can't attack in the turn they're summoned. So obviously, in some decks, this doesn't matter. And in this deck, this can hurt you very bad if you're trying to get the Winged Dragon of Ra, because you really need to attack right away. But still a good card to have. Nightmare Steelcage, just to stall. Sword of Revealing Light, just to stall. Pot of Greed, obviously. Just, you can remove that if you want. Mask of Accursed. So when you equip this to a monster, they can't attack, and they lose 500 life points at each of your standby phases. So again, stall cards and burn cards together. Nightmare Wheel does the same thing as Mask of the Accursed, but they also can't change their battle position, and it's a trap card, obviously. Coffin Seller. So this card is pretty cool. Whenever they send a monster to the graveyard, or whenever a monster goes to the graveyard for them, they lose 300 life points. So this is really good in combination with the other cards, because if you have Lava Golem up, or if Nightmare Wheel or Mask of the Accursed, if you have any of that stuff on their side of the field, they're going to want to get rid of monsters. And if you have Coffin Seller, they're going to lose life points either way. So kind of trap them. Mirror Force, staple. Rope of Life, another card that he used. Really good for this deck because most of your monsters are going to get destroyed, honestly, the weaker ones. So Rope of Life is nice to summon it back and get an attack boost. And then Malevolent Catastrophe. Just an interesting card that you can use. Basically just does Heavy Storm whenever a monster attacks. So, and then Metal Reflect Slime. I talked about trap monsters in my other deck, but this is just another one to stall, 3,000 defense. So this deck it's kind of interesting. It's not that complicated. It's kind of a burn stall deck, but also it gives you a chance to get the Winged Dragon out. But yeah, that's about it. So if you have any suggestions, you have any ideas for decks, you want to see other decks from me, let me know. I will see you guys later. Bye.